Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to Romancing the Stones. I am joined in the booth with Brian Hockey. We've got two games here, or two matches tonight. I can't even talk right now. Hockey, pick it up.
You guys ready to play some Magic?
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
So I think we have...
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Herb on the left, right?
Yeah, Herb on the left, Angelo on the right.
His name's probably Herb, not Herb, but...
Probably that is correct.
All right, somewhere I've got the deck list for this.
We've got some exciting things. If you're watching already, you're going to see Herb is definitely telling us exactly what he's doing with Basic Mountain into Skurg Prospector.
He does have the Black Splash for therapy, and it looks like one Living Death in the main.
Sounds about right.
Powerful.
This list, this is what Andrew used to win a league for his, last year, right? Maybe not the same 75, but a similar list, I think.
I don't recall.
Or was it Lorian who was
I
playing
think it should
Goblins?
be interesting. Like, if the way Angelo would like it to go is the classic Zoo versus Big Zoo, where Big Zoo wins.
Yep.
Because he's on fire as Yavi Maya, but like he's got these misers river boas that are I mean, not going to be as great. I feel like his mana is definitely going to be
tapped every turn.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be under attack, so having to pay a green doesn't seem great.
Well, so far, I mean, if we take a look, Herb has played a 1-drop that doesn't really do much on its own, and then just ported a land. And I think that's totally fine for Angelo. He looks like he was on the play here. And his deck, like you mentioned, is Bigger Zoo. It just wants to get to 3 or 4 mana and then just play bigger things. And all of his things are bigger than Goblins.
Yeah, I don't really understand this keep of I have a Mountain of Port and a Skurg Prospector and can't cast any of my other spells.
Yeah, that's, I mean, maybe we'll get to 3 mana and then, like, cast a Matron? And then, like, maybe get the game going?
Yeah, I mean, his deck has a lot of 3-drops. He's probably sitting on 3-drops, but I think you just get a new hand. You could draw Lackey in the new hand.
Maybe he's got an Incinerator, Gem Palm, and just doesn't have a target for it. Wanted to pick off of elves or birds or something. Wow. Not sense. A lot of mountains. Only ports.
This happens a lot. I mean, this is why like Goblins went from being a middle school deck to like the best legacy deck for years, just off the back of Aether Vial, because it freed it up to like it didn't have this problem of like not being able to cast your double red spells because you just put them in play with your artifact, and you could actually like attack their mana and play the game. I mean, Angelo's not doing anything either.
No. Although his deck, like we said, has a lot of 3 and 4 drops. So he, we're going to port, and then we're going to see if Angelo has another land drop and then can play something. But notably, he's not casting any of his Llanowar Elves or Birds of Paradise. He does have some of those to accelerate him, which is kind of probably what Herb wanted to, incinerate. I'm assuming there's an incinerator there. Okay. Angelo's saying, I've got time. We're just going to deploy this now, and then everything else after this is super live.
Yeah.
All right.
The keeps from either one of them, I think, are a little suspect. Like if I'm playing 6 Birds of Paradise effects, I really want to see one.
Yeah, strong agree. I don't believe these players knew what each other were playing, so I don't think there was any meta keeping there for their original 7. So I think this.
Well, I think then you just have to be like, I'm against land still, right?
Right.
Can my hand beat land still? Can my hand beat survival? And I think the answer is no for both of these hands.
No. Well, Herb is going to add a lackey to the board, so now that represents an additional threat, but turn 4 lackey is so many turns too late.
Though?
I mean, I'm assuming that there's something that we couldn't cast, which means Siege Gang, right? So maybe there's.
I mean, he could have made Siege Gang if he wanted to sack his Skirk Prospector.
I
think
as his only other mana source, probably not.
He's got. I think he just really wanted to port his opponent.
Yeah,
which I think is maybe a little bit suspect.
So having seen Stu's mono red version, where he's basically all on port and kind of this slow burn deck, port is really good. I think port is underplayed in this format.
Yeah, but spending 2 mana to take away one of your opponent's mana when you have 2 power on the board in your aggro deck is maybe
not where you want to be. This is true. This is true. Okay, so I'm getting on the same train you're on, which is these keeps are suspect. Angelo is untapped with Fires of Yavimaya and not cast a creature, so he must only
he can
have 4
activate
drops.
This treetop village. It's got haste.
It does. It can attack and tap for mana the turn it comes into play. Everybody, were he to animate it. Angelo must have 4 drops in hand. And must be waiting to untap with a 4th land. Which, if that is on Herb's radar, he's just going to port 2 lands next turn. And then 2 power is enough when your opponent doesn't play anything. It'll get there. Especially because this lackey will connect and play something. Okay. Okay. So now we've got some gas, right? Matron for a goblin that lackey's going to put into play. Assuming Angelo doesn't have, like, a removal spell.
Yeah, I think this is like... This is the no fear play. Like I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna make my opponent have a lightning bolt or something, and just get, probably Siege Gang or even the Ringleader.
Ringleaders would be a solid one. War Chief though. Okay.
I mean, he does have a lot of cards in his hand.
I want to know what's in his hand. I really want to know.
I'm guessing he had the Matron and he drew Pile Driver for the turn. I'm sorry, are you not attacking?
No, we must be discussing something.
How many cards?
All right. Go to attack step. Angelo's got a response.
Just see if my opponent reaches for his cards and then undo the attack. Okay.
No. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay, we have shown an incinerate. Okay, so Angelo didn't keep a completely nothing hand. And I guess if he wasn't
this makes a lot more sense. Like he's just got a hand of removal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense as like a hand of just like, I've got a lightning bolt, I've got an incinerate and a Yavimaya and some lands.
Yeah, and especially against all the decks we've had on stream lately, they've been mostly creature decks. Save for like the mono black dragon nonsense we've had.
Really every deck in this format is a creature deck. If you think about it. Like even Landstill has to win in the attack phase.
It does. This is true. And Incinerate kills everything but Angel. It's bad against
Yeah,
Decree.
Incinerate doesn't look great against Decree. That's
No,
sure.
it doesn't. All right, so Angelo's shown he did have a 4-drop. We've got a temporary 5/5.
I mean, it can attack 4 times. Let's go.
It can.
Like,
yes, Angelo pointing that out to us all. It does have haste. It is a card that is attacking this turn.
yeah.
Chat is saying that Lenstel wins in the opponent's boredom phase. Alternate win condition. All right, Angelo crossing fingers.
It's a bit of a stretch to call land still a creature deck, but
sure.
It does still have to care if you like put out like, you know, a Caltrips, a Moat.
Yeah. Caltrops. Yeah. All right, so Herb, we know he has the War Chief in hand, which then could cast potentially another good threat. But he's tapping 3 mountains and none of his colorless sources to cast this. He's used his 2 mountains in his Bloodstain.
Port has no value here. Just
okay, so he'll drop a red source. Okay, take 1 to do so. So I guess he really values porting.
Mog Fanatic?
What is... Okay, well...
Yeah.
I mean,
4 damage is 4 damage. It's not nothing.
But we're not attacking... Oh, I guess we're going to block with a Mog Fanatic. Okay, sure.
Yeah, we're going to block with a Mog Fanatic.
All right.
Skip
I'll take it, sure.
Oh, he's going to do it. I think you skip here so he can't attack you with a treetop.
That's fine. If you really are worried about the treetops. I mean, treetop plus Blasted Arm is a lot of damage. It is 8.
Yeah, I mean, the Blasted Arm's getting blocked, but the treat... So, I mean, like, you're going from taking 0 damage to taking 3. I don't think it's super relevant, like, porting him, and so he can't play his, Shivan Dragon? Like...
I mean, there's a lot of things, Angela could have here, like another Blastoderm or a Sapperling Burst. Okay.
Just kill you?
All right, so we're going to do a left total check. Herb is at 14.
Yeah, I don't know how much damage this actually does, right? So if we take 2 off, we've got 2 5/5s. Take 3 off, we've got 3 4s. I think so it's 12 damage. That's the highest you can get off it.
Yeah, because as soon as you go 4, they're all 4 3/3s.
So, which is the same thing. He's just dead, right? Like,
yes, he should just be dead on board.
Attack you with 3 with Blastoderm and 3 4/4s, and plus 2 sack Yavimaya to make something bigger.
Yavimaya gets the last 2 damage. So, Angelo might have this one wrapped up if he does the Sapperling Burst math correctly. We'll find out here shortly. Chat is asking if this is CEDH. It could be. Unless your name is Will. And then you're just a troll. Right, Will? Is that you?
I mean, it's jokes go. We've heard better.
Right? We have heard better. I'll take that.
Okay. They're figuring out what we've figured out already.
That's okay. This is good. Got to talk it through. We're gonna block.
Super kill you.
It's gonna be 12. Are we packing it up, or is that what's going happening here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the attack wrong was expecting just to get your opponent to find 14 damage out of nowhere.
And they figured out, yeah, no, that was definitely unexpected, especially given the the draws that we had seen.
I mean, you can't. I don't know. You could maybe play around it, but like, he wasn't really in position. Like, it wasn't doing a great job of racing as it was.
I think you have to know that that's in your opponent's deck. I mean, I guess Fires kind of says that, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's an easy card to forget about, especially when it's not like anyone else is playing this deck in our meta. I don't understand the Matron for War Chief though.
He must have thought he had another
Siege
turn.
Gang Commander and cast Siege Gang Commander.
Siege Gang would have been good if that would have blocked everything. That would have been nice.
Like your opponent's trying to get through you on attack phase. Siege Gang
Do you think he
comes up
really
the
thought
ground
the
and
Lucky
turns
was going to
everything into
connect?
damage.
Maybe he really thought the Lucky was going to connect. Well,
then you're gonna Siege Gang even more.
Right. Well, unless he had one in his hand. He may have had one in his hand. Well, I guess either way, Siege Gang kind of makes sense. He should have just played that.
I think he has one in his hand. He just cast it that turn instead of making it War Chief.
Well, our opponent's going to go to sideboard. If you've watched Goblins on stream before, the sideboard is going to be pretty similar. He's got some interaction spells. He's got some black cards to play off his Black Splash should he want to. Got an Edict. Edict might be okay. Angelo, let's see. What does his sideboard look like? He's got some stuff against white cards, some stuff against blue cards, some stuff against graveyards, a card against the rock. Oh man, spicy.
He's got an Obliterate, which makes his deck the coolest deck in the we've seen
Absolutely.
so far. It doesn't really seem like he's got much of anything for this matchup. Like he brings in these Balos and maybe the Whirling Dervish just have extra guys.
Yep, he's got the Baloth. He does have a access to a Whirling Dervish that does block a Goblin.
It's 2 Balos and a Whirling Dervish for 3 Sylvan Libraries. Like that's
sure.
He doesn't have a lot to bring in. He's got 3 Sylvan Libraries that he did see. Doesn't ever want to see them against Goblins. I don't think. It's just the time.
With no real way to shuffle his deck, he's got, let's see, one set of fetch lands, so he's got 4 fetch lands. The library isn't doing as much. I think that seems like a solid board plan.
I mean, I don't libraries a card unless you say I take 8.
Yeah, taking 8 against Goblins is not.
Like the only reason not to take 8 is so that you can take 8 later.
Yep.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I mean, right? So like Angelo's, he's a control deck here. Like he needs to not die to Goblins, and then Saproling burst him for 1 million damage.
Sure.
I don't understand.
Just play some bigger dudes. I mean, he's got a lot of creatures, right, that are just bigger, so he can play his Call of the Herds, his Blastoderms. Even Riverboa can be a nightmare if you
I'm looking
have some
at
elves.
Herb's sideboard, and I don't actually know what this like. He's got like a 5 mana red card.
So there's Pyrokinesis in there. We've got some Rashes. What is this? Oh, I know this card, and I can't remember what it does. Hold on.
It'll be interesting if he brought in Pyrokinesis, because he didn't actually see any target for it, right? Like he didn't see any birds or Llanowars. So I think in a vacuum, it's definitely a card he wants here.
He's got a really interesting enchantment out of Plane Shift that, what is it? Drolnew's Crusade?
Yeah, it's the red-black counterspell for Engineered Plague.
It is the red-black counterspell for Engineered Plague. But I think in here, it makes some of his goblins big enough to kind of tumble around with some of Angelo's creatures. So
yeah,
I might take out bad cards and put that in. I would just to add more pressure. You know, if all your hasty goblins are bigger.
Well, I mean, what's bad, right? Like you're taking out creatures, make your other creatures bigger.
Yeah, I wouldn't take out creatures.
Oh, this is quite a reveal. Okay, we started playing. All
right,
no,
chat,
I mean,
we'll
he connects with the lackey. He draws two cards off of a ringleader, including a sieging commander in hand.
This is every goblin player's dream.
I don't know what this is for. I have no one drop. I have no lightning bolt. I have just lost Angelo's video. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're cutting in and out a little bit, though.
Me?
Just a smidgen. Angelo's video is returned, though.
No, I was making a joke that maybe he could hear me.
Fair.
Oh,
wow, and we're gonna follow this up with the Cabal Therapy.
Time as possible, putting your hand down. He kept at least one library. I feel like that's the only one in the deck right now.
It has to be.
Cut out.
City Brass not looking too good. I imagine we're gonna untap and play this boa just to like jump block next turn, right?
Oh, if he gets, yeah, he's flashing it back.
Yep. Get rid of the blocker. Sure. Play
They
this.
asked the question. Riverbow is a 2/3, right? No,
No.
it's not. Wouldn't that be great here?
Oh, that would have been phenomenal.
I didn't hear the first name. I wonder if he was gunning for fires. It
I mean,
doesn't really. I don't think Angelo can really win this game
it's either
unless
fires
he
or
has
removal
fires
spell.
to turn the corner.
He
Sorry,
has some time to get there, maybe.
Did we just play a 1-mana Sylvan Library?
Apparently. Not that Angelo has anything to cast off of 1 red mana. Here comes Siege Gang. All right, so
He's getting goblined.
ooh.
Goblin
Yeah.
Lackey is like really a card apart from every other 1-drop in the format.
Yes.
Like the best thing you can do otherwise is make like a Birds of Paradise or like a 2/1. Whereas Lackey actually punishes you for not being in red or white to have a 1-mana removal spell. I mean, you can play Vendetta in black, but you need to be the right kind of deck.
Yeah.
Like I have looked at every black removal spell in this format like 5 times, just like hoping that I've missed something.
There's the whatchamacallit? Innocent Blood? You have Innocent Blood.
Innocent Blood is about the least reliable card in this format.
I'm willing to believe that. Notably, we didn't flash. I guess I was gonna say we didn't flash back Cabal there, but it's already gone. We've already done that.
Yeah, you flashed it back to take the River Boa.
Yeah, I don't think this Color Herd's gonna be good enough here, right? Oh, we have a removal spell.
What is this?
It's a Assault and Battery. The red half is a shock. Maybe just for creatures.
Oh,
Battery is a 4 mana, make a 3/3. It's the other half of
I mean, at this point, you just leave the Lackey there. Like, let him.
Yeah, I'd play my 3/3.
You gotta get rid of this pile driver. This pile driver kills you.
Yeah.
It attacks for like 150 damage. I mean, you're still super dead, right? Like.
Because next turn there's. Okay. We have a bolt too. Okay.
Yeah. He did take at least 4.
Yeah, Angelo will drop down to 10 to cast that bolt. Man. And Herb is going to untap
your
with.
Opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
power
in play.
All right, Angelo will drop down to 4 here. If he can untap with the land, he'll at least be able to play a Baloth, be able to block, and then gain life.
I don't know if it'll matter.
And cycle through a turn. It may not matter because I don't think he'll be able to survive the next turn.
Block 2 damage. Oh my god, he's putting in a Matron, which goes and gets a pile driver that he's going to cast. Like,
okay, yeah, that's
2 removal spells, and we're back where it was, except he has 10 less life.
All right, let's do a check. Does Angelo have the mana to play Obliterate?
It costs. Well, he has 3 mana, and it costs 8.
8. All right.
So no.
Well,
it's hilarious. Herb does. He could cast it.
All right, Herb, lend Angelo some mana so that way he can cast Obliterate.
Skirt Prospector. Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to tie the matchup here 1-1 pretty quickly. Definitely seeing the power of Goblins. Goblins is generally a tier 1 deck. You have to have the right tools to really beat the start that Herb had. You have to have a bolt or removal spell immediately for that.
I mean, he plays 4 Llanowar Elves. He plays 4 bolts. I don't think I'm keeping a hand against Goblins. It doesn't have one of those.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, he doesn't have 4 bolts. He's also got the 4 assaulted batteries. So, like, that's a lot of answers. And the Llanowar doesn't necessarily answer it every time.
No, but it is still a roadblock, right?
You're forcing your opponent to have, second hand and spend 2 mana to kill your guy. Much better than them just getting to attack you with a goblin, your 2-drop or your 3-drop with it.
All right, chat. Let us know who you think is going to get game 3. Angelo's on the play. His creatures are bigger. If he doesn't stumble, he has the tools needed to put up the right roadblocks. But we just saw the power of goblins. You can Zerg rush your opponent real fast.
I feel like both players have been taught a lesson about being a little bit more aggressive in their mulliganing in this matchup already.
I hope so. Chat is saying that they'd like to see Mountain Walk matter. There is a Goblin King, which I believe gives Mountain Walk.
Yeah, it does. It's the Red Lord of Atlantis.
Yep. So
that's actually
right.
a big problem.
Yeah.
Does he have Goblin Kings?
There is Goblin King in the 75. There are 2 copies. So we can
that's a
see.
Nightmare.
We could see Mountain Walk matter.
Man, my life for a pyroclasm, right? Like, good lord.
It
kills his board no matter what his board is, unless he's got both Goblin Kings in play or like the enchantment.
I'm kind of surprised to not see something like Pyrokinesis or Pyroclasm in Angelo 75. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I'm surprised.
Especially how many elves we've seen.
Yeah, so in my red deck, I'm playing Steam Blast because I want to also hurt my opponent for 2, but like,
And you don't care about how much mana things cost?
3 mana is fine if I'm already playing Burn.
Isn't Steam Blast an instant?
No, Steam Blast is a sorcery. Is it? I think it's a sorcery. Because like the first instant that did something like that was like Kozilek's Return forever after that.
It absolutely was not.
Steam Blast. All right, let's see everybody.
Like Volcanic Fallout came out years before Kozilek's
Oh,
Return,
yeah, it did. Okay. I didn't play then. I mean, I did, but not really. All right, Steam Blast is a sorcery, 2 colorless, 1 red. It deals 2 damage to each creature and each player. But yeah, Pyroclasm or Steam Blast, generally where you want to be, because our league is filled with elves. We've had elves make the final and then win, 2 leagues in a row, right?
Yeah. What do you think of this dice cut offering that seems to be somewhat popular in our leagues? I think it's a nice like gesture, but maybe a waste of time.
That's where I'm at too. I mean, more or less, at this point, we've been in the league so often, we're all kind of friends, and we play at We're All Friends REL anyway. But for those you've never played against, it still just kind of keeps the nice respect and gesture, because this is exactly what you would do in an actual paper game of Magic. At least give your opponent the opportunity to say no, you're good. Most of the matches that I've played, the last couple of leagues I've been in, I do it the first game, and then we very clearly establish there's no need to do that games 2 or games 3. But I think always game 1 is what I end up doing, just for fun. And that's kind of the easiest way to do it.
I think if someone wants to cheat at Webcam Magic, we should just let them feel good.
Well, yeah, there's no way to stop them. No way to stop them other than catch them in the act and kick them out. But yeah, no, this is true. All right, so we're gonna start off here in a weird. Angelo's got a tap land, which is fine, but then we're gonna start off with basic swamp into Cabal Therapy. Okay. Ooh, double lightning bolt. Did we name the double lightning bolt?
Did he name lightning bolt?
No.
He did not.
Well, you have time next turn because
I bet he named Riverboa.
That seems fine. Look at this keep though. So we kept double bolt. So we're gonna play mountain and play Llanowar Elves next turn. This seems okay. Unfortunately, we're going to lose a bolt.
This is the exact kind of hand he wants. If that had been an untapped green source, even better.
Oh, it would have been. Yeah, no, it would have been an incredible keep.
It is a bit of a concern that your opponent can basically take these 2 bolts, and there's nothing you can do to stop them.
Yeah, you can't stop. Oh my gosh, look at this land.
What? Okay. Oh my God. What is this?
What? Okay, are we going to follow up with another Cabal? No, Angelo's untapping. Holy moly. And we're going to tap the green source? Why are we tapping the green source?
He has a Raven and a Spade Elf.
But we could tap the red source, and he still needs to draw like 2 more land before he can cast his Baloth.
Yeah.
And then he can't cast bolts. And then you get both of them if you draw a red source to cast a creature, which we just did. Okay, so there's that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like my opponent might have multiple, things that cost 2 green or whatever. He doesn't know.
Sure.
It's a weird format.
It is a weird format. Okay, so there's going to be some discussion here. I don't know what they're discussing. Are we trying to do something before this fetch resolves?
I think we're explaining how the stack and priority works so that everyone understands that they can't bolt in between resolving a creature and flashing back there.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. So we can't bolt the creature before casting this Cabal Therapy.
Yeah. I am very interested to see if he just fires off one of these bolts.
If my opponent is casting Cabal Therapy, I'm absolutely going to cast a bolt at my opponent. Oh no! Disaster!
This happens way too often in this format. Where
Holy
like
moly.
you see the devil from your opponent and you're theraping the next turn, and then you look at their hand and they've drawn more of the same. Like, that's brutal.
Ugh.
But it's only a 2 for 2. I mean, really, it's a 2 for 3. The cost of giving 3 life.
Yeah, not taking 3 damage is relatively inconsequential at the moment. I mean, we're gonna get attacked for 3, so I guess it's.
What's the green side of battery?
It is a 4 mana make a 3/3 elephant,
Okay.
so it is the second half of Call the Herd. So if Herb had sequenced that a little bit differently, right? And if he had tapped the
Pyrokinesis, you 2 lands away, 2 mana away.
Wow, the blowouts.
That is
yeah, we can kill an elf here. Oh, we're not going to kill an elf? Yeah, okay, there it goes. Wow.
We got a JFC from Angelo there on that one.
Wow.
I don't think he's got much of a plan from here.
Yeah, okay. Herb casts a ham sandwich with haste. That's all he needs is this ham sandwich with haste.
This makes a lot more sense now. It was therapy, port, and probably the pyrokinesis.
Yeah, Angelo still has the ability to kill this War Chief, which he should do now in the upkeep before the mana reducing effect takes a hold.
Assault and Battery, I believe, is a sorcery.
And we got ported. Okay, so yeah, never mind. All right, well.
Yeah, I mean, ripping the mountain. That's a risky keep, but it's paying off.
Now, what if Angelo had just had 2 more land in his deck, or in his hand?
He knew he didn't have 2 more land.
If he just had that, I mean, it might be completely different. He might have been able to cast more bolts. I don't know. Mark Vanag's going to trade it with the elf. That does make sense. Angelo does drop down to 14 to cast that. It is 14 all. This has been a very different game than the first 2.
I'm ready to see a pile driver here. Just get it done.
That would
be
the
opponent for 6.
Yeah.
Right? 2, 3, 4.
All right, here we go.
8.
8 means Angelo has this turn to
draw a Pyroclasm. She doesn't play.
Right. He will have the ability to kill the pile driver. Because he will get to untap with both mana sources.
That's true.
So there is an opportunity here.
Green source.
Yeah, he does need to.
He could get it ahead of. He'd be 1 with a Baloth in play.
Herb actually had enough mana to port that mountain as well. Holy moly.
Oh. Another damage.
Holy moly. Yep. So Angelo drops down to 5. He's at a virtual 2.
The little green men are just.
We just need any
they're not messing
2
around.
power.
Oh,
bye-bye,
you're
Baloths.
dead. You're the deadest person.
We have an Incinerate. Okay.
I mean, this elephant actually still does a pretty decent job stabilizing.
Except now he can't cast.
Yeah.
He won't be able to cast the elephant unless he draws
He needs
exactly
to draw
land
Black
here.
Lotus. Black Lotus gets him right out of this game.
He's opted not to cast this.
It's not even
Incinerate.
restricted in this format. I don't know why more people aren't playing it.
Playing what?
That's it. That's all there was. Wow,
Man.
just an absolutely devastating pyrokinesis. Just
Wild.
disgusting.
Man, Angelo, just the tempo there was. I've never seen Goblins play
people
tempo that well.
That don't play Vintage, that's exactly what it feels like to get Force of Vigor. Oh no.
That's true. Having been on the receiving end of a Force of Vigor,
Yeah.
that just
like, how could I
day.
possibly lose? Like, I'm just gonna hit my opponent with this thing. Oh.
Wow. Angelo is showing an Obliterate. I think he might have boarded one in.
That seems incorrect. How many lands do you have to have
I mean, if I had the chance to obliterate on camera,
deck?
I would have obliterated on camera if I had the chance. I'd try anyway. I put it in my sideboard. I'll try it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was certainly an interesting match, right? I mean, Goblins lost game 1 to the combo kill. And then got their games 2 and 3.
Boarded out Sharpshooter for the Pyrokinesis. I don't agree with that at all. Sharpshooter breaks open any sort of like board stall, any sort of creature mirror.
But he didn't even see a birds or an elf games 1 and 2.
Like with a Sharpshooter in play, Mog Fanatic kills Baloth.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does. You can also sacrifice your board to Prospector and just machine gun your opponent if you need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm on board. Well, I
think that card is absolutely bonkers, and more people should play it. You don't have to be playing other goblins for it to function.
That's fair. That's fair. That's going to do it for round 1 tonight. Stick with us. We do have another round of Magic here shortly. We'll take a short break, get them prepared, and bring you back some more middle school.
And we're back.
Hello. We are. We've got another round of Magic for our round, or another match of Magic for round 5 of our middle school league. We have Michael on the left and Brian on the right, bringing you some different matchups than we had prior. Pretty different.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. It's mono black is such a choice. And here we go.
Pulling up the list on my end here. So yeah, right. We've got Brian already taking a look at Michael's hand. What do we see here? So we see Llanowar Elves.
Yeah.
That is a staple.
So we've got a Llanowar, Kyrian. I think the middle card there is like the giant growth enchantment, like Seal of Fire. It's
yeah, sure.
that Tanglewire, a couple River Boas, and the left one is Rogue Elephant.
Yes, it
which
is
a 3/3 for 1 mana, and it has no downsides whatsoever. It's just all upside. There's nothing wrong with that card.
So when I was first playing Magic in middle school, I thought that was actually the truth. I thought 1 mana 3/3s were absolutely nuts, and you didn't need that forest anyway. So
yeah, I mean, what do you need a forest for? Just to cast your other Magic cards, regenerate your Rivet Boas.
Now specifically, it looks like Michael land granted into that, so that is why his hand was revealed, giving Brian the mono black deck that probably plays Cabal Therapy perfect information.
Yes, he has the full 4, I believe. Actually, I'm looking at the list now, and he has 0 Cabal Therapy.
Wait. So we're going to play mono black and not play Cabal Therapy, one of the best black cards in the format?
He doesn't have any creatures he wants to sacrifice.
I mean,
I think it's
fair.
Strictly wrong. Cabal Therapy's absolutely busted.
If you're going to play, I mean, so what do we've got? So we have some Duresses, some Hymns, and some Hippies.
Yeah.
Here's where the card Cabal Therapy kind of shows the kind of skill you might need. If you're not sure what this format has, and you're not kind of sure every little thing that's going on, playing Cabal Therapy in a deck where you don't have the rebuys, I could see how that you might make the choice.
He doesn't have the rebuys, but he does have 4 duress.
That's where my argument comes in. I'd want to play it because I've got duress. Maybe play 2 of them or 3 because
I think
you're going to figure
argument in his head was probably I'm just going to play him to Torok in that spot instead.
Well,
which seems pretty solid.
Him is a good card when you can reliably cast it on turn 2. So Brian's going to cast his best creature on turn 2 off his 2 swamps, and Michael's going to untap and just load the board up more. So we've got Aquarian Ranger, which allows him to rebuy his forests and add more mana every turn. And it attacks, which makes it better than a basic land in this case. We've got a Regenerative River Boa, which is going to chump this shade pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it does until we want to cast our Rogue Elephant.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I've never understood these like 10-land Stompy decks. I think like the upside is so small compared to the downside.
So I
it just
want
seems
to
like
see
strategically problematic.
I want to see Eladamri's Vineyard put into a deck like this because.
Do you want to explain to every player in the world what that card is? Because nobody knows.
Eladamri's Vineyard is a 2 mana enchantment or 1 mana enchantment. I do not believe I remember the actual casting cost, but it's either 1 green or 2 double green. But at the beginning of your post-combat or pre-combat main phase, you add double green to your mana pool, and it's symmetrical. So your opponent has to do this too.
Yeah.
Which is great in a format with mana burn.
I've seen this card before. I think this card is a recipe for getting absolutely demolished.
It can be. The joke is, I think the joke is like you can make your mana burn. Like that's when it's good, is you can mana burn your opponent. But I mean, you're right. Like look at this case.
That's true. That's hilarious.
Right, and so like, you mana burn your opponent because they can't use green mana potentially, and then you can then accelerate into more of your stuff. The other side of the coin is
you can accelerate into it, but the point of acceleration is to get ahead of your opponent And if they can use the mana you're giving them, you're not.
Yeah, then it's bad.
You're not getting ahead. You've discarded a card to be at parity.
Yeah.
And then also, he can't construct his deck as if he's going to always have that.
This is true. I mean, you can use the mana for, yeah. I mean, look at this case, right? If Brian had access to 2 green mana earlier, he would have just cast this disc a turn earlier, and Michael would have been screwed, right? Even more so now, because we're in a position where he's gonna lose, his 3 mana sources, right? His Korean Ranger and his Llanowar Elves, and just be left with this basic forest, which is not where you want to be when you have a Rogue Elephant stranded in your hand. This is this is a kind of a play I'd expect out of like old school, right? Some green Stompy deck, and you ritual out a disc.
Yeah. Are there? I'm trying to find the life totals.
They're in Zoom. How about the life totals? When you're in the life totals, no one else can see the life totals.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and it seems like they're both at 20, which doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. So they're either... Well, no one's attacked. Like, I don't think they've actually spent turns attacking.
Yeah, okay. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The most underplayed card in this format. Rancor.
That I agree with completely.
Have you heard about this?
All right, we're going to attack with Rancor. We're going to block.
Why are we only attacking... Why aren't we attacking with our elves?
Because the elf has to regenerate the river boa to this disc.
Yeah, but we could attack with both our elves and then untap our elf with our...
yeah, I think we could attack with Quarian. Just fine.
Attack with both. Quarian Ranger has it. The cost is returning a land, but it untaps a creature. Untap your elf. Boom. Okay, there we go. Yeah. 14.
All right, what's Michael doing here? Okay, oh, we're going to cast something. Wait, why? Why are we playing another riverboat? Are we just trying to force the disc?
Okay, all right. So his line makes more sense now. He can regenerate both of them. He regenerates both of them. The disc literally only kills the 2 elves.
How does he regenerate?
Because Quarian Ranger untaps a creature.
Doesn't it doesn't tap a creature. Never mind. Sorry.
What did you think it did?
I thought it was returning a forest. I'm thinking you can't return and play the forest in the same turn. Forgot it has other text too. Okay, whatever. I'm bad at Magic. I don't play elves.
It's fine.
That's why you're here, Hockey. All right, so we've survived the disc turn.
Rancor is dead, but it goes back to his hand. Nope.
No. Wait.
There we go. Yeah, honestly, okay. I mean, we were talking about his line, but playing both riverbows there is kind of disgusting. Like, the disc didn't do anything. It didn't do anything, and now we're gonna pay life to draw cards.
I don't know why I thought disc did not get rid of enchantments. I think I've just seen too many powder kegs. But I thought it didn't for a second until you said the Rancor died, and I had to go.
Yeah, I mean, it destroys the Rancor, but he just plays it does. Again, right?
Yeah, it comes back. All right, Brian's at 9. And so this Necro is he's at a virtual
5 cards. I'll take a minimum of 6 damage.
You can only afford to take what, 4 cards here? No, you can take 3 cards.
I mean, he took 5.
No.
Right?
Oh, he took 5 to go down to 9. I lied.
Yeah, he took 5.
All right.
He's about to take 4.
6.
I'm about to take 6.
Yep. All right. I hope these were really good cards, Brian. We don't
Yeah, I
have
hope they're not
enough to
just like
corrupt.
Duresses and Hymnotorox and Hypnotic Specters. He
Um,
plays Ivory Tower.
because Ivory Tower and the Necro, right? You have
That's a
to.
bit late.
It would
He
be
does
too
not
late.
have any board clear. He really has no way to get out of this.
We
He
can
can.
Cabal Ritual into corrupt
He has
or
Dream Life as well. Like he can, he can.
drain life a creature, gain some. Yeah. We could gain a life.
This is not a great board
Um,
position.
no, Hippie's not good enough.
And we're not drawing any extra cards off Necro. We don't because we
I mean,
can't. One.
we still have 4.
This Hypnotic Spider doesn't do anything.
No, it blocks 2 damage and Brian will take 4.
Rancor gives him trample. He's dead.
Yes. But hey, that's the price we pay for playing Necro, right?
He
Greatness
can
at any
have
cost.
Diabolic Edict. That's his only relevant card here.
This is true. We do have Diabolic Edict, so I missed that
play
before.
Diabolic Edict, block the Rancored one, drop to 1
did not have Diabolic Edict.
with no draw steps left in the game. That seems.
Yep. All right. Well.
Yeah, this is honestly
game.
like 10-land Stompy's dream matchup. Your opponent's trying to just like have a full hand, pay life to draw cards, and like make you discard your hand. Like, too bad. I already played the whole thing.
In one of the first leagues that we streamed, Tweety was trying to play this black Necro deck, and his opponent did open up with Eladamri's Vineyard, and this black deck that Tweety was on had no way to utilize green mana, and just mana burned himself to death. It is a good matchup.
Have you heard of confirmation bias?
Hey. Romancing the Stones on our casual webcam leagues for these made-up formats. Confirmation bias is the name of the game.
Rob, there's nothing casual about these games anymore. This is the premier middle school play in the world.
Yeah, that's probably true.
We're the top. This is the best of the best. All right. I admit the pool is the size of like a barrel, but this is the top of the barrel.
So it's like Austin and Ohio, is that right? And then a little bit of bleed over from Japan?
Yeah. We have one regular Japanese player in our leagues who always plays a deck that I can't possibly beat.
Yes.
He's been playing like Replenish, and when your plan is to like cast Duress and Cabal Therapy and have no clock whatsoever.
Yes. Last time I played him, I was playing The Rock, and oh man, let me tell you, it did not go very well for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
I'm looking at their sideboards here. Mono
Black. What are you thinking?
Honestly, like has significantly less to bring in than you'd expect. Like, I think he's pretty like anti-creature light in the main deck. He doesn't have Infest or anything like that to bring in. I would expect to see like Mutilate as a 4-mana Wrath of God. That seems much better than Disc. Disc does blow up our Necro, so there's some synergy there.
Yep.
But he's got some powder kegs, which admittedly the powder kegs are going to be absolutely incredible.
Yes.
2 powder kegs, 2 spitting darkness, and 2 dystopia, which seem probably too slow. He could bring in engineered plague. Like if he's just like, I'm just gonna take out like all of my discard and just be like a board control deck. I think plague is fine.
I think engineered plague on elf is still very solid, right? Because everything is tiny.
Snake. River boa.
Yeah, everything but the snake. I think that's fine. And your rogue elephant, I suppose.
Yeah, I think basically his main deck seems so ill-equipped here.
So we just swap out these Duresses and bring in these powder kegs and E-plagues?
I think Duress is better than Therapy, honestly. Not Therapy. Him to Torag. Like, yeah, if you him on 2, great. But if you draw him at any other stage of the game, you're gonna be like, oh no.
What is Duress? I mean, there's so many creatures. What is Duress really hitting that actually matters?
Oh, I think you're probably pulling Duress out too, but you are on the play, and if you just Duress his land grant, he might just be dead.
Oh. This is true. All
And
right,
also,
can
Rancor is a friggin' nightmare. Like Rancor makes
well,
every card he plays into like a
yeah,
threat you have to deal with.
duressing a Rancor is absolutely where I'd want to be. I mean, having a
The only
Hindertor
way to
out to get rid of a Rancor afterwards after you kill something is maybe
Yeah, that's
okay.
true. The only way to get rid of Rancor, other than like getting it from their hand, is to destroy the target while it's on the stack. Otherwise,
We
it
don't
just
have
goes
ways
back
to
to
do
his
that
hand.
reliably.
Yeah, he's got essentially Diabolic Edict and nothing else. I don't think.
Yeah, no. And if we're powder kegging, we can just kill everything. So,
Meanwhile, Mike gets to bring in Hidden Gibbons, I believe, is a card he wants. I'm not sure.
um,
But that's just like another annoying way for him to get around like potential
sure.
board clears. And Compost.
Oh, Compost is absolutely the card he wants.
If he gets a Compost in play, he just draws a card like for every card that Mike plays.
I think Compost is exactly where we're at. Hidden Gibbons requires Brian to play exactly Diabolic Edict as the only card that turns on Hidden Gibbons, so I don't think that's coming
Does it?
in.
Okay.
Maybe some of his other board cards that I don't think he's going to bring in, but
All right, so yeah,
yeah,
it's just going to be the two Composts for I don't
yeah,
know
I think
something.
it's fine. I mean, you might bring in Naturalize, right? You know, just go tag a disc that you saw, or maybe if you think Powder Keg might show up, you know, tag that.
I doubt it. Like,
Tag a Necro.
I mean, why would you want to
Ooh, all right.
unlock
So
your
we're
opponent's draw step? That
all right.
doesn't
We're
seem
gonna
very good to
see
me.
one of the very few
Um,
instances Brian has at Sorcery Speed. We're just gonna edict that elf.
he was able to bolt the bird there. That's huge.
Yep.
Um, his opponent. Oh, here we go. Landgren.
Ooh. Okay. So let's take a look.
Is
I
that
love
just
Len Grant for
giant
coverage.
growth?
It is just actual factual giant growth. He did bring in naturalizes. He does have a Lyrist in play.
See, the
Um,
problem with bringing naturalize is like, all right, you might tag a disc, but what'd you cut? You cut one of the things that he would probably be sacrificing the disc to destroy.
sure. We have Elven Guide, which I'm actually quite a big fan of in this matchup.
I mean, he might just be actually, next leveling it and be like, my opponent's going to have like, dystopia and crap like that.
Um, which I think, I mean, it's fine, right? Brian has played this mono black deck on stream before the last couple of weeks, and we've seen dystopia come in against before. So if Michael's paying attention, he might know that that's a possibility. We're going to hedge our bets with the Elvish Lyrist. We can stop a dystopia this way. Jungle Lion's going to provide pressure. And we're actually just one land short from this Elephant Guide, which is going to provide some redundancy as well.
Oh, he has 4 elephant guides.
This
That
card's good.
is quite the magic card.
It was a
Back when
limited
they were
bomb.
desperately trying to figure out how to make creature enchantments playable. So you
Yes.
got Rancor and Element Guide and relatively close together, I think, in release. I was hoping to see the 10-land Stompy deck play Matenda Lion, which
Okay.
is a 2/1 for a green that it can block and everything, unlike Jungle Lion here, with no downsides unless your opponent has blue mana, in which case they can just like pay a blue to make it do no damage.
Which is half the decks, I think, in this format.
Yeah, but I mean, as a sideboard card, getting
Sure.
that like
Yeah, bring
turn
it
one
in, be
threat
more aggro.
density.
Okay, so if we're him to talk, what do we hope to hit? Probably Elephant Guide.
Men, just men.
All right,
We
survey
don't want to hit the
says
naturalize. We don't care about that. We
Elephant
hit the
Guide and
naturalize.
Naturalize. All right, well,
I
Elephant
think
Guide's
you
kind of
take
a
it.
big hit.
Elephant Guide. Like he has so few lands to be playing these 3-mana enchantments. He's got 10 forests, 4 land grant.
How many
End
dorks?
of list.
How many dorks that generate mana?
Just the 4. No Findhorn Elves, just Llanowar.
Okay. I mean, Quarian's kind of a pseudo.
Yeah, Queen Ranger can get you a mana. That's true.
Yeah. But look, there's the third land on time. We've got the Seal of Strength and the Giant Growth, so we could battle here for quite a bit, should we desire to. Brian's shields are down. Whether Michael knows that, I don't know.
I mean, there's no reason not to swing, right? Like,
Well, but do we cash in these Giant Growths now? I mean, I don't see why not. I don't know what we're.
that must be what he's thinking about. Like, I can guarantee that this giant growth is a bolt to the face
I
right
would at
now.
least cash in the Giant Growth. I don't know if
Why
I.
isn't this Lyrist attacking?
I think
That's
because we
just.
want to hold it back for whatever enchantment.
I mean, it does untap
All
on your
right,
turn.
it does. I like what Michael
I
did
think.
here,
I don't think you
where
can leave damage on the table when you're playing this deck. You need to
I
get
I agree with
exactly all
that.
of it.
Chat says maybe
Like
he's leaving it
if
for
your opponent
Necro.
plays Necro and you're on this deck, you never want to destroy it. Like if you could stop him from destroying his own Necro, you would.
I like what Michael did here, where he only cast in one of his giant growth effects. However, I disagree with his choices on which one. I would have liked to have kept the onboard one because it's free and paid for, rather than having to keep this giant
Cabal
growth in
Ritual,
hand.
E-Plague.
Oh no!
Well,
So that comes
it
into
does.
play and immediately kills the elf if we choose
I
elf.
mean, do you name the elf or you name the lion and be like, here you go, go ahead and blow it up. Have no board presence whatsoever.
I would very. It depends on if I wanted to cast a Necro in my hand, and I thought
Why?
that it
Why do
would
you
be
care
blown
about a
up.
Necro getting destroyed? You play Necro, you pay a bunch of life, and then your opponent
That's fine.
obliges you by giving you your
Yeah,
draw
no,
steps back.
I think naming jungle's fine. Um, unless I want to
Like,
cast a dystopia, which actually doesn't do anything. Yeah, I think he plague on lion seems okay.
yeah, and you can't just like leave Elvish Lyrist untapped because your opponent might play a dystopia.
Um, the only other name, probably whatever Revoboa is, Snake.
I think it's 100% you name lion here. I don't think it's like even in the question. There you go. Or
Brian
cat,
agrees with you.
excuse me.
Two Brian's thing alike.
All right, now play a guy that makes all your creatures look bad.
So one of the things I like about what Brian is doing here is he's making use of Cabal Ritual when normally these pre-modern decks would have Dark Ritual.
Yeah,
Um,
it looks so bad on paper, and then he does it, and you're like, wow, all these turns that would be too slow,
right.
just like getting your little Lotus Petal. And then
I don't
late
think
game,
enough people have done that in middle schools. Play Cabal Ritual instead of Dark
in late
Ritual.
game, it's adding 3 mana for his 4 drain lives.
Yeah. All right,
All right,
Michael
well,
having a card that he didn't cast or play. So very few things that could be.
I wonder if he's flooding out.
All right, well, Brian's going to ask him a question. And the question is, do you block?
I think this game is just absolutely over with.
It's not looking good for
No
Michael.
blocks. Take 4. Another swamp. A Necro. Well, I mean, we'll see if he blows it up. He's reaching for his forest. I don't think you blow it up, guys.
Chat pointing out that he can't name lion, he has to name cat.
Yeah,
Jungle lion
I
is
already
a
said that.
cat.
Come on, chat. Too slow.
So Brian's going to consider how many cards he's going to pick from Necro. Their players are confirming that if we remove cards from Necro and pay life, we still get them even if Necro is gone.
Yes. Yes.
Which you do.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine that
Brian's
the
going to drop
mindset of I'm going to
down
blow up Necro is
to
based
8.
on thinking that they wouldn't get the cards, but they absolutely get them.
Yeah, Brian's going to just use it as a draw 7. 3 mana, draw 7 cards, pay 7 life, just Grizzle Brand himself.
Yeah,
Seems fine.
great.
Yeah.
Like there's there's a board state that we could get to where it's like he has a Necro and an Ivory Tower, and like, oh, now we should blow up the Necro. But I think what you do in that stage is you just pick up your cards and go to the next game.
Fair.
Hit you for 4.
Oh, we're attacking. Okay, sure. We're just going to pressure the life total. There are no more giant growths. We're going to play a land. Okay, so Michael is flooding out.
Wow,
10
he is
land.
flooded out.
Stompy having 4 mana sources.
14 lands total, including land tax or land grant. Yeah, I mean, he just put him to 4. It'd be nice if he were at 3 from the attacks we missed.
Yeah. Brian's just going to fireball on the back of this shade. And
Yeah, he
I
just
mean,
wants to close
Michael
it out.
is representing lethal. If we can draw a giant growth effect or an elephant, guide or
He's
whatever,
representing lethal, but
rejuvenate a land.
Brian did bring in some spinning darkness.
I assume he brought in some spinning darkness. So
And I think this play here makes it look like he has it in his hand.
all right, Michael saying that he's going to block this turn.
He has to block because his opponent has 9 damage in
Yep.
play.
All right, we're going to block. Okay, so if we block, are we killing Necro? Or we? No, I don't think we kill Necro. I think we kill E-Plague.
Yeah. Our main out is our opponent forgets how much life they have and kills themselves with Necro.
Yep.
And this unlocks our Lions, which might be one of the cards in his hand.
Lions can't block though.
Yeah, but if we could play a Fires of Yamamaya, we could
Oh, okay.
win the game. Oh my god.
Oh my!
That's just
wow.
bad luck. That's just
50% of your land, dude. That is. All right. Well, this is not how Michael drew this one up. That's for sure. All right. So we're gonna tie. The players are gonna tie up the game here, 1-1. This is gonna be good on Michael's side. He will be on the play, and Brian's gonna have to really draw the right cards out of his deck to keep up with what Michael is doing. But
I definitely don't think he wants these duresses on the draw. The upside goes down considerably.
Yeah.
I think that the Stompy player has plenty of targets for duress. I mean, there's all these giant growths and stuff. I guess you could get a land grant. I don't think you're ever going to. There's Rancor, so I don't think it's like that likely to miss, especially because you're more likely to hold those giant growths.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be too low impact. That said, he doesn't really have anything else to do on the first turn.
I think I'm really kind of upset that Michael missed that opportunity to convert. He had the attack. He needed to draw, let's see, how many? One of his 4 giant growths, one of his 4 elephant guides.
I think
one of Sealess
I think the
Strength.
way that was played is Brian has Spinning Darkness in his hand in that position.
Sure.
And can just kill your guy. And even if you have like second giant growth, I guess it would need to be like exactly second giant growth. If you had like giant growth plus seal, Brian still lives even if he fails to like kill it.
Sure. Had Michael not missed that 1 point of damage by not attacking with the elf, Rancor would have gotten him out of that spot too, potentially.
Yeah. Like if he finds like Rancor, it has a giant growth. Like suddenly,
yep,
that looks a lot better because he can use the giant growth to protect his guy. But I don't think he's beating a Spinning Darkness no matter what.
Indeed. Well, so I asked chat who they think is going to win. Chat at the moment seems to believe it is Michael's to lose. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I mean, Brian's deck, I don't think it's a very well built deck. I think it's sort of built for. It would look more at home in one of our like first or second tournaments before we all kind of like started getting more and more tuned lists.
Sure.
But at the same time, like individually, his cards are, or at least most of them are quite powerful. And it's not like his mana's bad. He does get to live that luxury. I do think his deck is built well for fighting land still.
Yes.
Because of these 3 wastelands, like that gives him just so much time. I do think that he's gonna have trouble just ever actually like killing the land still player. He only has 8 ways of dealing damage.
I think your plan against Landstill at that point, right, is to just play Ivory Tower and just gain life every turn, and then make sure his opponent can't kill you, and then he'll deck himself, right? Like Landstill is never going to not deck before his deck.
I mean,
but can it
it's
beat
a plan. I'd want to have more
tower?
ways to deal with soldier tokens, and if that is your plan, the Landstill player can eventually just like cast Decree of Justice
Sure.
Like,
I mean, but we could play Nevi's Disc, and like as long as your landstill opponent doesn't like find the Seal of Cleansings, then like this
as
disc could
long
just
as you can play disc,
yeah,
untap it through their counter spells and their seal of cleansing,
right. Or powder
and
keg.
use it while they've got guys in play.
Sure. If it
Powder
takes
keg
them
kills
that
them
long, though,
instantly.
I mean, let's say you get like two ivory towers, and you gain 8 life a turn, and then that just goes on for 10 turns before you get to casting Decree of Justice for some dudes. You'd have to cast. You'd have to cast. Let's see, what would the number be? If you're gaining 8 life a turn, you'd have to make how many
I mean,
angels?
yeah, like it's a plan, right? Like it's not. I don't know if it's the best plan, but it is technically a plan. All right, here we go.
Well,
Let's
speaking
start
of
with
plans,
a bird.
Michael's going to start off his plan, which is land grant into Llanowar Elf. You know, I will say, the best thing I
There
love
it is.
about Tinland Stompy is land grant is amazing for coverage because we get to see everything that's happening.
Yeah,
Um,
I do often when I look at these lists, like, why are you playing land grant? Just play like 4 lands in those spots. And if you want the deck thinning, play 4 fetch lands. Literally no
yeah,
reason to play land grant. This Winter Orb is absolutely terrifying for Brian's deck, and
yeah.
he has 2 cards in his 75 that deal with it, and then one they cost 4 mana.
Yeah, strong agree.
But
Winter
I'll
Orb.
gain 3 life or whatever every turn, so that's pretty.
Okay, well, this is
Wow.
a way to get some mana. What are we going to do here? Okay, we're going to put the engine in play. Drawing all the cards is great, but if you can't untap enough mana to cast them, we'll see if that can keep up. Now, having the Cabal Ritual does enable Brian to cast more things than he might, normally be able to through this Winter Orb.
It does seem like he's just kept all 4 of his Necros in play or in his deck, and you gotta admire the chutzpah there. Like, yeah, I'm just keeping them. Like, whatever.
Well, Michael's going to say, "Hey, I'm going to answer your Necro here," um, which makes sense given that the Ivory Tower is there as well.
Yeah. Oh man,
Brian's going to
that's
go up to
just
22 this
that's
turn.
brutal. You don't want to live in this world where they have both of them, and you have
No.
to like spend your precious few cards dealing with something that already drew them 5 cards.
All
Someone
right,
is
so we
saying
have
in the
enough
chat
mana.
that land grant being green is relevant for Bounty of the Hunt, and he does have, I believe, 2 of those.
Sure. Okay, that is fair. We're going to drain life for
I don't
one.
think it's worth it for just auto losing to Force of Will.
We're going to drain life for one. They're trying to establish targets here. Off the back of Cabal Ritual. We're going to get rid of the Jungle Lion, which I find interesting. I think that indicates that he's going to draw a bunch of cards off of Necro, and if it gets destroyed, he doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, he might just have another Necro at this point. I
Oh,
Hitting
that's very
Jungle
true.
Lion, I think, is interesting compared to hitting Llanowar.
I would have wanted to hit Llanowar as well. Seeing that my opponent just has okay, well he's going to draw the land grant and
There we go,
show
another
the
land
the
grant.
other Lana, the other orb. Okay, so if I'm Michael, am I blowing up Necro this turn, or am I just casting this Elephant Guide?
I mean, I feel like it's damage done with Necro. Like,
Yeah, I kind of want to I want to land this Elephant Guide, and then next turn I can blow up Necro and start swinging for 4.
yeah, I mean, I think you need to be attacking. Like, what if your opponent just plays another Necro? I mean, I guess he would have to find the mana for it.
Yeah.
But
The
if your opponent doesn't have enough life to pay for Necro, that's a great way to deal
right.
with it.
I think if we Elephant Guide this turn, and then next turn we can kill Necro if we want to, play the Seal of Growth, Seal of Giant Growth, Seal of Might, whatever it is,
Yeah, if
and
this
then we can swing
Elvish
for.
Leers had been a disenchant, this would be like a totally different game.
It would be. Okay, so we're not going to.
Oh, we're doing it.
Oh man. Okay. Well,
all right, let's see how it works. I mean, I'm interested to see if this like pans out.
this means though that Michael can't cast Elephant Guide next turn and get in with damage. which means if there's a kill spell for this elf,
He can if he draws Quirion Ranger.
okay, sure. If he draws Korean Ranger, that's fine. Brian's not going to kill it this turn because he doesn't have the mana to do so. But I think he's going to give Brian a window that he might not have otherwise have had. Chad is also saying, while we're talking about Bounty of the Hunt, the counters should have been made permanent. 100% agree. Given today's Magic, at the time, I can see why they thought that might have been too powerful. But when you're also like the other cards in the cycle are what? Pyrokinesis and Contagion. Like having green being able to kind of counter
like
that.
2005, when they designed a card, they had a special person on the development team, and their job was to check if the card was blue, and if it wasn't, they had to nerf it. Like it really felt like that for the longest time. Like the green cards and the red cards in the cycles would just have like a huge downside for no reason.
Sure. Yeah. Well, when you think of like what Pyrokinesis deals 4 damage divided, and then Contagion, you give, -2, -1 counters or something. Then like having the green card give permanent counters to like counter some of those spells or kind of be a counteract just makes sense. Chad is asking if you used to work for Wizards, and stating that you know too much.
No, I'm just really, really lame. or I'm just making it up and hoping you guys don't know otherwise.
All right, so Brian's going to play another Necro off the back of Ritual. So, yeah, I think had Michael decided to make the previous play of playing Elephant Guide instead, maybe things will be different, right? Damage done.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I'm getting depressed for Michael. Like just having to fight through an ivory tower and a necro with my basic forests.
Oh, well, we drew the land, so we can just cast it this turn. Didn't matter. All right, so we're going to get in for at least 4 here. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting in for 4, but all this is doing is being at parity with the ivory tower.
I think I would just...
Or, I guess it's better, right? Ivory tower is cards above 4?
Yeah, so you gain 3 a turn?
Yeah.
I'd cash in this giant growth.
Attack 20 times.
I'd go ahead and do that. Bring the life total down to 13. So do you think there's any amount of naturalizes in this green deck right now in the 60?
We saw at least one in game 2, so I think they're there. I think it would probably been right. I mean, he didn't know that Ivory Tower was coming, but it would have been correct for him just to like cut his lyrists and bring in the naturalizes.
Sure. All right. Well, this shade doesn't do too much with the Winter Orb in play. Now, notably, Michael's only going to be able to untap 1 land himself, but doesn't matter. We're going to bash in for 4.
It doesn't matter because he doesn't have any cards to play.
Well, that's also a very good point. Let's see. Is Elephant Guide +2 or is it +3? It is +3. Okay, so yeah, so we're going to battle for 4. Right through this shade.
Man, that is... I would have packed my cards in a long time ago. Maybe spiked my deck in the trash.
I mean...
he could win. He could still win this game.
Brian's at 11. Michael's still at 20.
Yeah.
So... And like shade is not nearly as threatening without the ability to untap your land. So
and there's like almost no way that he's ever playing a disc.
No.
I guess he can play it off another ritual if he finds it. Those rituals are looking great here under this Winter Orb.
We are 3 rituals in if my count is correct, which means it's going to be harder for Brian. Like he's going to get to pick 1 more spell if he has the 4th one. But I think Brian's best hope is to trade with this elf, give his opponent a 3/3, and try to untap some more land and play another dude.
That's, I mean, without hitting a
That's
land
a
drop,
turn
that's
away.
such a long-term plan.
It is. He's
Like
not going to be able to do it this turn.
he can't just sit back. He's not drawing any. He doesn't have a draw step. Like he has. Necro says you need to do something.
Right. Looks like he's going to
Oh,
chump.
here he's gonna. It's gonna be the block and the.
Spinning Darkness.
Yep, spinning darkness.
Okay.
0 mana lightning helix that can't hit black creatures.
All right,
We'll
so
team
we'll
up to kill your 4/4 and turn it into a 3/3.
sure. That's fine.
It's also 0 mana ancestral recall, so that's not bad.
That's true. So Spinning Darkness originally cost 6, I believe, but it has the alternate text. You can remove 2 black cards from your graveyard.
It's 3 black cards.
3 black cards from your graveyard. Cast it for free, and then it is a Lightning Helix. For creatures only, or also for players?
Just creatures.
Just creatures. Okay. Chat saying that our stream tonight is like the Two Towers.
This is the winter orb, one of the towers. Is it?
I'll take it. All right, so we've got a 3/3 left over. We've got this 1/1 elf. Brian's going to untap 1 swamp. He's very likely has another swamp in hand. He is drawing a number of cards. He does go up to 16 off the back of Tower and Spinning Darkness. But he's not.
No Berserks. Is Berserk not in this format?
Berserk is not in this format. He's
that-
going to play Powder Keg, which is going
That's
to.
Powder Keg instantly kills this elephant token.
It does instantly kill the elephant token. Do you think we wait, or do you think we just go ahead and wait a turn to kill?
I think we absolutely. I mean, you could wait for like his attack phase or something, but you're absolutely just blowing up this 3/3.
Do we want this elf? No, because we want to keep our ivory tower in play. So I think just blowing up the elephant token now makes sense. Because we know our opponent has another winter orb, right? Or did
we do know he has a winter orb. Oh yeah. We don't have the time to ramp it up to get rid of the winter orb. I don't think.
Oh, but can you just imagine? Like, the game is over immediately if he does, though. If he can find the time to do that, the game is over immediately.
Yeah. I think those are the 2 options. You don't care about this land or elf. It's utterly irrelevant. I really don't see losing. Yeah, if he blows it up here, I don't see how he's ever losing this game.
Well, Brian decides that he agrees with you there. Okay, well, we're gonna giant growth this this elf to
a lot of spike you.
Sure, that does bring Brian down to 9.
Yeah,
he's gonna go ahead and gain 3 life, go to 12. Chat reminding me that Winter Orb did get him away. This is true.
We were talking when we were talking about what to play in our Necropotence piles. Like, oh, we could play Ivory Tower, and it just seemed like such a prayer. Like, okay, so we need to be in a position to Necro and then untap, play Ivory Tower, and untap again.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's actually happening, it looks amazing. It looks like such a great time.
Yes. If you've ever cast Necro and just drawn a new hand of cards, you're like, this is amazing. I can't believe I got to do this one time. Imagine doing it every turn.
Yeah.
And that's what Brian is getting to do right now.
So we've edict away the elf. So, I mean, like, look at the board. Look at the board state.
1 rogue elephant, though, is enough to, like, change this landscape. Oh, I thought it was gonna be called shot. All right, well, at least we can get rid of
the worst possible draw other than land. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's not. Imagine if that had been naturalized. Scrappers would be good. Or imagine if that had been naturalized.
Yeah. Naturalized essentially does like 30 damage here.
Yeah. All right. Brian has cast a win condition.
I don't like it. I don't like casting that here.
I don't like it either. I kind of want my mana.
I mean, I guess he wants it so he can get like an extra card and not have to discard. I think having to discard is fine.
Yeah.
I think it's almost
There's no
always right
pressure.
to take like 1 or 2 extra cards with Necro.
Agreed.
Because he wants to get rid of this orb, and he's got discs and like one other powder keg to do it with.
So, can you imagine if Brian's deck had like a single copy of Lake of the Dead in there? How good that would be right now.
Yeah, I can imagine having to read Lake of the Dead, Rob. He does have a Cabal Coffers.
Okay, Cabal Coffers,
It doesn't work super well with Mana Orb, but if he had 2 mana untapped and he drew, or 1 land untapped, untap 1 for the turn, draw Cabal Coffers, make 8.
All right, so Michael's cashing in this Lyrist. So Brian's going to draw cards. And that will at least stop the stream of resources. But like we said before, damage is done.
He might just have another Necro too.
He has drawn 1,000,000 cards. There are 4 Necros. Is every reason there could be another Necro. Now we're not casting it unless we have.
I see a Drain Life, a Cabal Ritual, a Spinning Darkness.
I do see a Cabal Ritual. All right. Well, he's got the 4th Cabal Ritual, which is pretty solid. It looks like Brian's going to come in here for the first bit of damage that Michael is going to take. It's just going to be 2. It looks like. Are we going to?
You should attack him 10 times.
Oh, we're going to throw a Cabal Ritual into it. Okay, so we're just going to try to close the door as soon as possible. So that's going to be 5 extra mana, so that'll be 7 damage. Okay, sure. That does mean Brian is out of rituals, if I am not mistaken.
I think he's just in a position where he feels like he has everything he needs and just wants to end the game.
Yeah. I feel like a Rogue Elephant. It's time for Rogue Elephant now. Rogue Elephant into Rancor.
You seem very excited about these Rogue Elephants.
It's just because it's bigger than this Nantuko Shade.
Yeah. That's the other problem with these like lowland Stompy decks is like, you don't actually have burn.
No.
Your pump spells act kind of like burn. And now you're in a state where you have a normal amount of lands in play, but you're hoping to draw like 1-drops.
Can you imagine if this deck like splashed blue for like Sea Drake?
Yeah. I believe someone won one of our events with a deck that was doing it. They had Mox Diamond.
Yeah.
Sea Drake and Meddling Mage. Meddling Mage is
okay. That's a different deck. But like if you had this like Stompy
deck.
I
know they took out all the bad cards.
Well, this is true.
they remade it.
All right. Well, Michael's gonna draw a card. Not cast anything.
Is he gonna pump here?
No, I can't imagine you pump here. I think you've got time. If your opponent plays a creature, you have a Diabolic Edict in hand. You've got to.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I agree 100%, but I also am surprised that he fired off the Cabal Ritual the previous turn as a Lava Axe.
Maybe just because he knew he was going to draw another card, and now he's at 7, and so he can just gain his life back. Jungle Lion can't block.
There it is. Excuse me.
Wait.
So he was sandbagging one of these cards.
Okay.
The previous turn.
Okay, that makes sense. You've seen your opponent already reveal Drain Life, I suppose. So maybe you just don't want to have your guy immediately murdered. I don't know.
I don't think there's much to it. You play your cards.
Yeah, I think.
Hope the mono black player we have his next draw 5.
There's not a lot of counterplay in this green deck. Well, as chat said, it was kind of Michael's game to lose. The way Brian started off, I'm not so sure that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it looks like he can't beat an ivory tower ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he got the winter orb exactly when he wanted it, and it's really done is make this game longer.
It has given Michael time, but yes, I agree. Chat asking for a library of Lang. That would be entertaining.
Guy. Be at 21.
All right, so I looked away for 2 seconds, and now Michael doesn't have any creatures. What did I miss? Drain life in a
Nothing.
block?
It's more of the same.
All right, drain life in a
There we
block is what
go.
it looks like.
Oh, we're casting Land Grant.
Oh, River Boa! Guess what River Boa does?
Revealing our River Boa.
River Boa blocks for days. All right, so, all right. If Brian can't get rid of it now, Michael's going to be able to regenerate it for the rest of the game. And Brian's just going to gain life every turn. Brian's back up to 21, so...
Well, we don't want to untap 4 swamps. What's going on over here? What's going on over here? Shouldn't one more of those be tapped? Yeah.
Brian's opponent agrees with you. All right, there we are.
Let's touch all our cards.
So if we have a swamp, we do have enough to drain life this River Boa. Okay. Are we going to drain life the River Boa? Are we going to just edict it? No!
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right, well, that is unfortunate.
Edict's less demoralizing.
This is true.
If your regenerating creature gets killed with damage, it's like, I could have just waited.
No, this is true. All right, so we're gonna untap another swamp. We've got 4
there's
damage.
Nothing he can draw. Like he can draw. Like River Boa was his best draw. That's not the world you want to live in.
Oh yeah, River Boa was like the best draw. Into like Rancor. No, yeah, we're too far behind. I think this is just not how Michael drew it up, right? I mean, Brian got the Ivory Tower, and Ivory Tower has single-handedly, well, not single-handedly, but it has allowed Brian to stay afloat. And then, of course, Necro drew how many cards this game?
Here it is. Compost.
That was a...
Would have been nice to have that 20 turns ago.
Wow. Can you imagine if that had come out instead of, like, at the same time as Winter Orb?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely kept the hand off the back of, I'm going to be able to play this Winter Orb and start beating down, but his creatures aren't evasive. He doesn't have any reach, like...
All right, is lethal. Here we go. 5 damage. Michael reveals the Rancor in hand.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is basically exactly what the mono black player wants to have happen. I mean, the spinning darknesses are great when you're like, my opponent's gonna have Winter Orb. Extra removal.
You know, Michael or Brian's gonna win this match 2-1, and we saw him do it through turn 2 Winter Orb, off the back of Cabal Ritual, pretty heavily. I mean, if we take a look at the tempo of that game and just remove the rituals and have like any other black card, you know, other than like more removal, I think that the tempo of the game changes, and Brian probably doesn't win this.
They absolutely did some work, but I don't think so. I mean, I think like that Ivory Tower just gained him so much life.
It did. Oh, I mean, like there was a turn where like, we took the turn off to like kill the Necropotents. If we don't have the ritual, we don't get to play the next Necropotents, and then we get another turn for green to keep beating down. I think those add up, and I think the game, maybe it's not quite the same, but
I don't think his hand was like 6 blanks and a Necropotence. in the
Well, okay,
original. It was, you
sure,
probably had other cards you could play, but was like, I don't even need to. I can just play another Necropotence
yeah.
because my opponent has a 3/3.
Well, the only other two drops that he had that would have mattered might have been maybe him, um, but it doesn't answer the
He
board.
he did bring
His
in all the naturalizes.
okay, well, I mean that makes sense. Well, either way, I think that that's going to be a game that just feels bad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him. Like, oh my god, like that's just you're just
it's
watching your
brutal.
opponent like have all this fun, draw cards, gain, and you're forced to keep adjusting the life total. Like,
Chad is saying the bad guys won tonight. So Goblins is a bad guy. Mono Black Necropotence is
I
a
don't know.
bad
I
guy.
gotta say, Winter Orb is the bad guy.
Winter
Although I
Orb is a
guess
bad
Necro's,
guy.
kind of a good magic card.
I love resolving Necro, so I can't really say that that's the bad guy.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I take it back. Chad's right. We'd all be really excited if somehow the Deadland Stompy deck was
I
in
would
like
have. Yeah,
the
no,
finals. Like, here we go. Let's make some vanilla creatures.
let's do it. I'd be on board. Well, thanks everybody for sticking around and watching both matches. We can't do it without you guys, but that is going to do it for tonight's stream of our Summer School Middle School League. We do have one more round next week. We are starting at a later time, 8 p.m. Central, thereabouts, to accommodate some of our players who have lives that need to start later. We do have, after 6 rounds, a cut to top 8. The quarterfinals are played off stream, but the semis and the finals will be streamed here. So you'll have 3 matches the week after next. Looking forward to seeing what matches we bring next week. We should hopefully be able to feature all the win and ins, so should be an exciting night of Magic. Watch players battle for their spot in top 8.
Yeah. All right. It should be. Yeah, it should be exciting. And the winner gets an invite to our invitational.
Tell us about the Invitational, Hockey. What do you know about the
The
Invitational?
invitational is the only thing that matters. No, all of our events, including the leagues and the in-person events, like the winner gets an invite, unless they don't want it. In the case of some people, they're like, I'm not, going to fly from Ohio to Texas, and they face off in the invitational, which is usually vintage or it might be a mixture of vintage and middle school. It was last year, and the winner of that is the Romancing the Stones champion. Our current champion is Andrew Webb. He played Dredge and Elves at that event and just kind of ran over everybody.
Yes, he did. I remember playing Andrew Webb in the first round of middle school, and I was for that tournament, and he was running hot that day, and it was showing.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Dredge is the most consistent deck in Vintage. It really just asks your opponent, like, you need to be, what are you going to do? Are you going to stop me? It always finds it's bizarre, and it always just keeps on coming, even if you blow it up. Like, it's just like, oh, I'll just Dredge for my draw step.
Yep.
Do. What do you got?
So yeah, so if you like watching these streams and want to know what we're all playing for, we are playing for the glory of playing in our invitational. We do host it at the end of the year. You get a super sweet playmat. If you like our hold screen with fun posters and whatnot, the playmats usually feature all of our posters for that season. It's a lot of fun, to get together. Usually some cool swag. So if you're thinking about playing any of these leagues and you haven't played yet, definitely do so, or come out to any of our little vintage events, or even our old school event that we host from time to time. If you are in Texas or feel like traveling, we do have a doubleheader tournament this weekend in Houston. Information on our Discord, but we will have 1 day of old school and 1 day of vintage. And we're doing something a little bit different, and both are going to be proxy friendly. So
That's
if you've ever wanted to play those formats, now's a good time to jump in. And you can play Magic all weekend with a bunch of, old dudes or women, whoever want to play Magic. So coming out if you can. But that's going to do it for tonight. We hope you join us again next week. We'll bring you more Magic, and until then, we will see you later.